Just a quick build video for these Wagtail handles, where you have these little pinch clamps cut into it so that you can control the water flow. Simple push down, release. So just some measurements for those that feel they might want to do this to their Wagtail handles. It's working pretty well now. I've had 2 weeks trialing this out, and so far pretty good. So what you want to do first of all is we need to cut out some material, and you want it to be around about this mark here. Let's see the actual measurements. Let me just get this. For the pinch clamp opening is about about 42-43 mils. That's, you're about what's that? That's about 15 mils from this part of the handle before it goes into that gooseneck. About 15 millimeters down is where you make this cut, and we're doing like a rectangular cut to fit in these. Let's see if I've got some more pinch clamps here. To fit in one of these pinch clamps. You can get these on eBay. I'll see if I can find the link of where I got mine from. Very cheap. I think a packet of 20 was about $5 or something. Very cheap. So we're going to come in 15 mils down from the gooseneck of the handle. We cut there down to about here. Alright, so I'll do that and just pause. So we've marked out where we're going to cut away this material in here. Now, I use a Dremel for doing this, just one of these cutting discs, and we get that material cut away, which I'll do, and then we have to hone out the inside of it using this grinder bit, because there's a bit of material on the inside where it's some strengthening bars. Once you cut this out, that you have to then use the grinder attachment to smooth it out a bit. So we'll just do that now. Now, when you've cut out around the edges, what I found works best to start clearing away some of this material is just simply to drill that away. So just drilling a few holes, then that will allow you to like clear this top piece away, and then we can start grinding it down on the inside. Okay, so it gets to the point where we've cut it out, and we've still got some of this material in here to clean out. So basically what we want to get is to be as flat and as clean on the inside as possible, so that this will sit in, this pinch clamp will sit in as far down into the handle. We want it sort of sitting in about there on the inside, so that there's enough meat for you to be able to push down and for it to be able to clip off. But also we want it to be a nice, snug, tight fit, so that if this ever breaks, it's simple, just pull out, get a new one, put it back in and set it up. So we'll show the next part when it's all cleaned out. So after you finished grinding this material away, you should be left with something like that, and you can then sort of force this in until you get it to a point where it feels like that's pretty close. Don't worry, that didn't break, that was just the thing snapping back. Okay, so that's gonna sit in nicely. It doesn't pull out too easily. I mean, if you yank on it, it's going to come out. But you could always super glue that in, or you know, just use some Loctite and glue this in. But if this does happen to break, then you want to be able to get another one, because they're so cheap to put in and out. So once we've got the material cleaned out, this to go in, we then want to decide, do we want to run our tubing drilling a hole through here or through here to correspond with these holes. And then what we want is 8mm drill bit, and what I like to do is just start it off this side. Okay, and just clean that up a bit, and that's where our tubing is going to go through. So we're using let me see what outer diameter this is. This is 7mm. Yep, 7mm outer diameter and 5mm internal diameter tubing, just from hardware here in Australia, Bunnings. So we'll just cut that to the length we want. Okay, put that over there. And this is what's going to go through and out. Now, what we're adding to this is, just focus on that for a second. This piece will drop down. This is 6mm food grade tubing, out to 6mm outer diameter, and this fits these irrigation sprayers perfectly, because they can just screw in and they have a really tight fit. I put a little bit of Loctite just around the thread as I screw it in, and that just holds it in place, and when we come back we'll see this all in place. So we just heated up the tube to this clear tube to force that 6mm food grade tubing down inside of it with a bit of Loctite on the outside, so that's going to stick. We've got a bit of Loctite around the thread of the irrigation sprayer, and then we just twist and tighten that onto it. It'll cut its own thread. Okay, that's good. Now this top can be adjusted to face whatever direction. So while that's drying, that glue, to keep it nice and tight in place, we're going to get that, make sure we turn this spray around the right way and feed this through the pinch clamp. I've experimented with running the tube down the handle, which is fine if you want to use it in the hand, but you are sort of limiting your options to then use it on a pole. So it does work this way, having the tubing on the outside. We'll just get this in place. Come on, get in there, you mongrel. That's it. I didn't break, that's that just snapping back. Okay. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to get this nice and flush in there. So we just pull and push, get that in there. So that is really nice and snug in that hole now. And you can see it's not going to, let's hold it there. Here's the spray here. It's not going to interfere with any ledges at all. It's only sticking out probably about a millimetre or two past this edge, and we can then just straighten up that sprayer. So with that done, push that in place. We've got this all going, so then let's see how it sprays. Okay, so attached to the power pivot, which is the best applicator in my opinion. Done a video on that really good power pivot pivoting applicator, sorry, from Wagtail. So let's see how it works. Okay, on, off, so you can see the kind of spray we're getting. Very powerful. Click on, so you can have this. You've got really dirty glass, you can just power through it. The two-handed method, but let's see what it's like in a high flyer. So all we have to do is just stay there for a sec. Undo this. Pop this down here. Now, if you make a few of these handles, it's worthwhile. So you don't have to keep interchanging. You can have it like dedicated for each channel or applicator if you choose to use it on the applicator in that sense. And that's what is the great thing about the Wagtails, is they just lend themselves so much more than any of the other window cleaning tools out there to be modified or customised to your own personal use. Now this 16-inch Wagtail is just such a great tool. It's possibly my favourite tool that I love. I think the new power pivots are fantastic. This is just such a great tool to use on a ladder. Because imagine if you've got quite a bit of ladder work to do, the kind of spray that you're getting if you're using this on top of a ladder, or even just hand use. The way I have this set up, I haven't got my pockets on me, but I actually have it in my pockets so that the cord goes around the back of me. And I have my bucket on the belt on my right hand side. And so again, let's have a look at this. Hopefully this is coming out the kind of spray we're getting. And this is just from a 1.5 litre pump sprayer. Having it on the left hand side, I can keep pumping as I go, and then it just the glass comes out a lot cleaner because you're giving it a really good saturation, really good wet. You'll find that your rubbers last longer because your washing process is the most critical part of getting a window clean, because if you don't get the washing process right, it doesn't matter whether you got a new rubber in or not, you're going to streak that glass. So with this method and having clean water always at hand, you're not using contaminated water except what's coming off your sleeve, but it gives you just a couple of options. Now this might not be for everyone. It's a fairly simple mod that you can do. I've had other mods where I've got a trigger sprayer that's built into the handle, but this is just very quick and easy to do. Pumping up. See, the more you pump, the greater the spray you get out, and then on off. Very simple with these pinch clamps. And the beauty of this too is that you can mount this onto a pole, and for most shop fronts this is air hose, about 2 meters worth of air hose. When it extends out, it just gives you fantastic reach, and it can wrap around the pole so it doesn't get everywhere. So that's the build video of the how to put in a pinch clamp onto your wagtail handles. On, off, on,